Thanks for joining me. This is Danny, and welcome back to my RealTech series and my busy colony. Today we are going to be taking a look at Minecolonies schematics so that we can get our builder to build custom stuff for us, like our creations or maybe modifications that we make to Minecolonies creations. And we'll be able to add schematics to our game that we can set up with our build tool and have our builder build them for us. First of all, I'm going to show you a couple of custom schematics that I made and how we're going to be able to access them. And then we're going to actually go into a different world to make some custom schematics in creative mode. Now, I'm not going to do it in this world because this is my survival Let's Play world and I do not play here in creative. But as you can see, I did, if we look under my schematics, so we can see we've got the regular decorations that come with Minecolonies, and then we have my schematics, and we can see that I've made a couple of paths. I made this brownstone corner, and I made a brownstone path, which is basically, it's a path that uses Tinker's brownstone because it makes the NPCs go faster when they are traveling on this brownstone. So this is a custom schematic that I made, basically just by placing blocks in the world and then scanning it using the scan tool, which we'll take a look at in a second. And then I gave it this, and what that is a waypoint placeholder. And we can make those like so. It's just wood and our building tool, and that gets us 16 of these placeholders. We can place those in the world and then scan them as a part of our schematic, and we'll see how to do that in a bit. When the builder builds this thing, the builder will not place one of these in the world, but what that will do is that when the builder builds it, it will mark this as a place or as a path marker basically for our NPCs, which is something that we had kind of taken a look at in the past a little bit. But basically what that means is that allows our NPCs to have that, to be able to walk down this pathway as one of their pathways, as opposed to having to go from building to building. We'll look at how that looks later. So I've got this. I'm going to click the X mark, and we can see that our builder, Kylie H. Goodrick, started building scan paths, brownstone 1 path. So that was what my scan was called, and she's going to build it right over here. After she clears out her lungs a little bit. But as we can see, if we look in here, we can see these are the blocks that we used, and these are the blocks that she's going to want from us in order to build this pathway. So while she's building that, actually I'm going to have to get those blocks for her, but in the meantime, I'm going to show you too that I also made some custom schematics for houses. It was this house set. We saw this in the last episode when I upgraded our citizen huts. They're requiring white candles now instead of torches. And the reason I did that is because in this pack, torches produce a lot of pollution. The white candles produce less in this particular pack. They used to not produce any, but now they produce some, but not as much. So I created 5 citizen huts that are all the different levels of citizen huts. And we have to do that. So what we're going to do together in creative mode is we're going to take a look at the alternate citizen hut like this, and we're going to make some changes to it. We're going to make our own custom set of schematics for the citizen hut that are based on this one with all of its various upgrades. And we'll see those when we go to, say, upgrade this building. We'll see those in here. So, for instance, if we go through here, we will see Danny's wooden huts. So that's now an option for us whenever we place the citizen huts, is to be able to find our own huts. Yay, we have our long brownstone path. Nice. And as you can see, I go pretty fast on it, and so do they. The funny thing is, vanilla concrete, or terracotta, or no, yeah, vanilla concrete also makes you faster, but it doesn't make them faster. But as you can see, our NPCs are faster when they're walking on the brownstone. This is from Tinker's Construct, by the way, the brownstone. Welcome to my creative test world. So I have a town hall placed here, because if we don't have a town hall placed, we're not going to be able to place any citizens' huts or anything like that. So I placed a town hall. This is a creative test world. This is not the world that I'm playing my Let's Play in. We have 4 citizens. They're just going to wander around. They're unemployed. They have nothing to do. Well, whatever. We won't be here for long. So what I'm going to do is actually 2 things. I guess first of all, I'll show you how to just create a custom schematic for just some thing that you want your builders to build. So let's say we want them to make a custom path. Let's just make it out of some trodden cobblestone bricks. Okay, so of course we can do this in survival too. There's nothing that would stop us from doing this. There's just a few things that I want to show you in creative, so that's why I'm doing this in a creative world right now, and then we'll bring these things into our survival world when we're done. Minecolonies, and then I'm going to grab one of these waypoint placeholders, and I'm just going to stick it there. So when we place that, and we can do this in survival mode too, we can place this waypoint marker, and it's a thing in the world. We don't really want those to ever to be placed in the world, other than for the purposes of creating schematics or creating different scans. So then we take our scan tool, and what we're going to do is we are going to left click at the front, one of the front bottom corners, like so, and it says 0.1 saved, and then we're going to go to the opposite corner and right click. So then you can see 0.2 is saved when we right click. Now if we right click on this tool in the air, we'll see the outline of the thing that is being scanned. So in fact, oh whoops, I did not want to do that. In fact, if we remove this, we'll see that that bottom block is a part of the scan too. So that's part of the scan. We go, oops. Okay, we right click in the air. If we say show resources, or if we just hold on the shift key, we'll see all of the resources that are involved in this particular scan. So we have a few air blocks, we have the waypoint placeholder, and then we have these cobblestone blocks. And then we can give it a name. So we'll just call this test path 1 or whatever. We say, we click the X. So now it's going to tell us, hey, it saved the scan under my hard drive, Daniel Documents curse, in my curse instance, where my RealTech pack is, Minecolonies. So this is my Minecraft folder right here. So within my Minecraft folder, it's in the Minecolonies, scans, new, and then whatever name I gave it, .nbt. So it creates an NBT file in our folder there. And now, if we take our building tool, we can see that under my schematics, there's a category called new. And here is my scan. So we can rotate this, and we can set it down, and we can say like that, and then our builder will build it. Of course, we don't have a builder in this colony yet. So now let's take a look at modifying some citizen huts. So because I have the citizen hut in my inventory, we can take a look at all the citizen huts. I'm going to go to the alternate wood. And because we're in creative mode, we can click this button over here, which will just place the build for us. Ta-da! And there's our citizen hut. So you see we have these funny looking dark blocks down here. These are solid placeholders. These are not blocks that our builder would place, but basically they tell it that it wants a solid block there, but it doesn't care what it is. So whether there's grass there, dirt, or whatever, it's just going to leave that there, and it's not going to force us to place any block or air blocks or anything like that. And we have this white placeholder block that we can use as something to click on, which it's basically not really a part of the schematic. It's not a block that anybody's going to place. It's just there so that we can click on it with our scan tool. So now we're going to change the schematic and make our own out of it. I'm just going to line this up with that one. And we're going to go to tier 5. And then I'm going to do that again. And it just basically replaces the blocks that are there. It voided them because we're in creative mode. So this is our tier 5 build. And then now here's some special stuff that we can do in creative mode with the scan tool. So first of all, let's make sure we have something to click on up in this corner. So if we want to make a citizen hut or any one of the Minecolonies buildings that we want a custom building that we want our builders to be able to build, there's a couple of rules that we have to follow. First of all, obviously, if we wanted to do a citizen hut, we want to make sure that it has, of course, the citizen hut block. So here is our citizen hut block. It's right there. And then we also want to make sure that every tier of this building, tier 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, all have the exact same footprint, and that the citizen hut block, or whatever block for the building that we're making, is in the exact same position and in the exact same orientation. So it needs to be faced in the same direction, and it needs to be in the same place. So we can scan this area right now, but before we do, I want to make a couple of changes. And there's something that we can do with the scan tool that is pretty freaking awesome. So let's say we don't want these torches. Let's say we want something else instead of torches. We can go in here and we can look at all of our resources. So I just held down the shift key to show the resources, or we can click the button. And we can find whatever blocks. We don't need construction tape here. In fact, we could remove that placeholder block now if we wanted to. But let's say we want to replace our torches with something else. So we click on replace. This option is only available in creative mode. So let's say we want to put candles there instead. We say select, and it says tile torch is going to tile candle decocraft. So we click this, and as you can see in the world, it actually replaced all the torches with candles. Hooray! So then, of course, we can do whatever changes we want. Now, another thing to notice too is that it is going to show us whatever entities are in there as well. So click show resources. We can see there's a pressure plate. That's an entity. That's an item entity. We can just remove that, or remove item entity torch. If we had like of course, those are just floating items. We don't care about those. If we had like an armor stand in here or something like that, it would show up over there because that's an entity. I just changed some of the lighting stuff. So now we can take our scan tool and we can give this guy a name. This is going to be the tier 5 citizen hut. And we can actually check through this list to make sure there's nothing in there that we don't want. And then we can call this, or we have to call this, Citizen 5. And there it is, Citizen 5. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do that same thing with all 5 of the tiers. So now I'm going to take my building tool, and I'm going to, and there it is, Citizen 5. It is not technically a citizen building yet. It's just a custom schematic right now. We'll have to change, we'll change that in a second. But now we're going to go to, now we're going to go to the actual citizen hut ones and line this up. Make sure it's exactly lined up. And then we're going to go to tier 4. 5, 4. So, and then we're going to click this. And it should have now replaced. Oh, nope, that is not what I wanted to click. Darn it. We don't have a builder to build it for us. We're going to do the cheaty way of building this. So as you can see, it has the exact same footprint, and that is necessary. And we have to make sure it's exactly lined up. And as long as we don't rescan with our scan tool, it'll maintain that same scan. So we're going to go like that. And now we have our tier 4 citizen hut. And I'm going to go through and change the things. Actually, what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to change all the torches. So we want to replace the torches with what? The iron lanterns. Okay. So that worked. All right, I'm ready for this one, and I'm going to call this one Citizen 4. And I'm going to remove all the items. If it starts with the item dot, that just means it's a dropped item, so we don't want that there. Okay, so Citizen 4 was saved. So I'm just going to do this with all 5 tiers, and then afterwards we're going to take a look at the file structure and how we can turn this into an actual schematic for building citizen huts. So now we go into our Minecraft instance folder. In this case, I am using the curse launcher, so my instance folder is under my curse folder, Minecraft instances, and then the name of the pack that I'm running. We will find a Minecolonies folder. Inside the Minecolonies folder, we will see a folder called scans. And inside the scans folders, we'll see a folder called new. So whenever we do a scan, it's always going to drop that scan in this folder called new. So we can see there's a couple here that I did before. This is the test path we did today. So it created this file, testpath.mbt, and then it also created these 5 citizen hut, or citizen 1, citizen 2 through citizen 5 files. If we want these to become actual citizen files, or citizen hut files, we can cut them. We don't necessarily need them in this folder. Go back to the Minecolonies folder and then go into Schematics. So inside the Schematics is where we're going to have all of our custom buildings. Whatever folder name we give them is where we're going to find them in the building tools. So I'm going to call this Danny Alternate Wooden Huts. And then inside that folder, I am going to paste those citizen hut files. So now they are officially citizen hut files that are listed under Danny's alternate wooden huts. So of course these are the ones that I created before. So I now have 2 different styles of wooden huts that I can make that are mine. So and then another thing we can do is we can also add folders to our scans folder. And then when we look at our custom scans, they'll be categorized under these scans. So you can see I have paths here, and it's always going to drop them under new. But we can move them. So let's say we want our test path to be inside the paths folder. Okay, so now we'll go back into the game and we'll go back into the game in survival mode and we'll see what we just did and how that's going to affect everything. We're back in our survival world and now we can see the effects of what we just did. So if we go into one of our citizen huts, actually let's go into an alternate citizen hut. If we now decide that we want to upgrade this hut, we will have our new options. So we have Danny's alternate wooden huts, and we can see all the stuff that it requires, including our iron lanterns and white candles. And then we also have Danny's wooden huts, which are the ones that I made previously. And if we say upgrade building, our builder will upgrade this building per our thing that we just made. And then we also, if we take our building tool, and of course, if we had a citizen hut and we wanted to place a new citizen hut, we would then see that option under here. So here are my schematics. We have the new folder. So whatever folders we have in that folder, or whatever folders we put in there, we will have options for here. So we have our paths, and then we have our new. And then caught an exception rendering a block. That just means that there's some block in there that it's unable to render. In this case, it's chisels and bits blocks, which, by the way, do work. Chisels and bits do work with Minecolonies. So our builders can actually use bits to build chisels and bits things, which is really, really nice. And then under paths, if we look through here, we'll see the test. Let's see. These are a bunch of paths that I made. Yes, here's our test path that we made in our creative world. So we can now have our builder build that here if we want to. So as for compatibility, like I said, you can do chisel and bits. We can do modded blocks, obviously, because we're doing these candles. We're doing lots of other modded blocks. These guys obviously have modded blocks, so most just regular blocks will work. I did run into some problems with Architecture Craft. I would not recommend using Architecture Craft. It did cause a crash for me. I'll probably make a bug report for that. However, it's possible that they will get it to not crash, but I doubt if they'd be able to get it to work because of the way Architecture Craft blocks work. I also ran into a problem with Ferdinand's flowers when it was trying to scan the area. Just having Ferdinand's flowers within the scanned area caused it to crash. So be careful about Ferdinand's flowers. And be careful about Architecture Craft, but Chisels and Bits does work, which is freaking amazing. In the next episode, this little tiny house behind me is going to get a major upgrade with the help of our builder. So it's going to be a build episode. It's not necessarily going to be focused on Minecolonies like the last several have been. We're going to be kind of taking a small break from Minecolonies. However, we are going to be utilizing Minecolonies and our builder in order to help us build our brand new house. Because what I did is I built a house in creative mode, and I scanned it, and I'm now going to have the builder build it for us. So we'll get to watch that, and I'll show you. I'll do the regular stuff that I do in my build episodes, where I'll show you the different building techniques that I used and stuff. But then we'll just get to watch our build it instead of you seeing me build it in third person, which is what we usually do. So I hope you join me for that. If you have any questions, comments, ideas about schematics, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. I will also put a link in the description below to the Minecolonies wiki schematic page, because it does have details on like the file naming, like what you have to name things, like if you want to do warehouses or some other hut, you know, other than the citizen hut that we did today. There are naming conventions that you have to follow, and there's also lots of other useful information there on the wiki. So if I do forget to post it, somebody remind me and I'll post it right away. So if you have any questions, comments, ideas, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed this, don't forget to click the like button and to join me next time. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.